in terms of setting this all up, where did you start? I mean, and I mean, where did you get the idea to do this?
Well,
he is so interesting. I mean, I have to say, the second you see him on screen, you're like, oh my God, why hasn't someone done this before?
Well, I think that's exactly what I thought when I saw him. You know, why hasn't somebody done this before? He's this authentic, true to himself character that is such a rare find nowadays. And you know, I originally met him through Isabella Rossellini, who I've worked with a number of years, and I don't know if you've ever seen her green porno series, but
I haven't actually.
Oh well, Google it. Google green porno. It's the sex lives of insects, and she plays the insects. And
oh no, I've heard of it.
Yeah. So you should take a look at these. And she was doing some for the company based on colony collapse disorder. So she wanted to go meet Burt and find out sort of what his story was. She plays Burt in these little shorts that she did. They're very humorous as well. And she took me along because I was helping her with them. And when I saw Burt, that was it. I knew there was a character there. I knew there was a story. Of course, I'd known of him. I don't think I knew that he was a real person.
Right.
I was starstruck when I met him, there's no question. I remember that little tin can that I saw probably in the early 90s with his face on it. And then, you know, one of the first things he said to me is, when I got later on camera, when we were just talking about his life, that he was a evolutionary, not a revolutionary, that he basically never wanted to change the world, he just wanted to live in it day by day. And the fact that here is somebody with his past as a photographer during this iconic period in the 60s, taking these photos of Malcolm X and JFK and Allen Ginsberg, and then of course the sort of the success of this product and this sort of organic movement and things like that. He's actually a guy that's had a big influence over the world, but he hasn't seen it. And I thought, what a great contrast to sort of be able to perform, or to see, to explore. So.
And I mean, how much convincing did it take to say you really have to do this with me?
It you know, oddly, it didn't take a lot. Everything just sort of came about pretty easily. You know, obviously I had to get access and that sort of stuff because, you know, it's, I gave my pitch and I had the three things that are, I think, important for, you know, trying to make a documentary, which is character, access, and full-on creative control, just to tell the story.
Right.
I got all that, so I went forward, and you know, before it took a process. We shot it over the course of a year, so I knew he's got his own time. He's on his own clock, you know, right. Which he doesn't know. So the first few times I went up there, I didn't bring a camera. I actually just went and we just talked, and I heard his stories, and he could go on all day just telling stories.
Wow.
And I really just started getting him to tell things. And I think one of the things that he was really happy about was that this wasn't going to be Burt's B story. This was Burt's story. Right. And I think that was something that he was sort of happy to discuss, his past, his photography, that kind of stuff. So.
Well, I mean, the amount of history here for his story is astounding. I mean, I think anyone scratching the surface, knowing a little bit about Burt's Bees, I mean, this might actually be very surprising what's behind the company.
It's how many opportunities do you get to peel the mask off an icon, you know?
And someone you didn't even know was an icon. I mean, that's what I find most interesting, is that he's just so compelling and such a history.
Such a history, you know. Maybe there are other people like Burt around, but somehow this one got famous, you know?
So was it hard to actually get the film made? I mean...
No, not really. I mean, it was we were up at Maine, back and forth a bit. You know, we went to Taiwan for about 2 weeks and got to go on that. Which is amazing. Well, that was what cemented it for me. That was what I thought. When I met him, I originally thought, you know, there's a story here, the documentary wheels were turning, you know, what's the story? I didn't want it just to be a biopic. Right. But when I found out he was doing this tour in Maine, that's when it clicked. That's when I thought, okay, there's a bigger theme that you can explore here. This contrast between what it means to be a man, and what it means to be an icon, and what does it mean to be the icon behind the man. And I figured, knowing what these Taiwan trips were like, because I'd seen photos and stuff like that, Burt had showed me this, that clearly this idea of the icon would come out there, and this idea of who the man is would come out of the land, and I thought it'd be a nice juxtaposition to show. So.
Well, I won't lie, when I saw the opening, you know, my first instinct was, wow, did they plan this so they could do the documentary? But it wasn't. It was not.
No, 100% not.
That's what's so amazing. I mean, it feels so. It's hard to believe, you know, when you understand that he's that big, really.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's no question. Like, there's a marketing machine behind him, right?
Oh, of course.
Putting that out
of
there.
course.
And I hope that comes across with the handlers and all the people and stuff like that. And that's one of the things we really wanted to show. But there's an attraction to him. Like, there's just no question. There's an attraction to him.
And I mean, in terms of stories, what was the wildest thing that he told you? Was it in the film? Was it something that he told you?
Yeah, no, I think all the, there were a lot of Burt episodes, obviously, and not all that made it into the film. It's, you know, the most incredible story to me was his life as a photographer, was the fact that this guy had this access and first of all, that he's a brilliant photographer. I think his photos are just fantastically done. Great composition, great subject matter. The fact of who he got to shoot, what he ran around doing.
Right.
He looked like a complete hipster at the time, you know. I imagine he was just a wild animal in New York in those days. That was incredible to learn, you know. Once we started talking, he pulled out a box, this box with like 15 years of dust on top of it that was like sitting in the bottom of some closet with blankets on top and who knows, like old dog collars and things. Pulled it out when I was there, and it must have contained about 200 photographs that even Trevor had never seen. Wow. So there was a surprise sort of life about this guy, this unassuming sort of role that he had that I just thought was great. So.
And I mean, otherwise, I was wondering, in terms of TIFF, you've been here, what, a couple days maybe? Or
I live here. I'm in Toronto. I'm a Toronto boy. Yeah.
I thought you were from, okay.
No, I'm a Toronto boy.
Well, then what's it like being at TIFF when it's in your backyard?
It's one of the most incredible dream come true honors that I could ever have happen to me, you know. I grew up with this film festival, like most Toronto boys and girls interested in film, and I would skip the first week of university to go see films at the festival, and to have the support of the film festival and to have a film premiere is just a dream come true.
Is it kind of mind-bending considering how big it is now?
The festival itself?
Yeah, I mean, it seems
huge.
Amazing to be part of that.
It's, again, I just feel such gratitude towards their support. I've been pretty fortunate in my career as a producer. I've had a number of films in here. I work a lot with Guy Madden.
Yeah, of course.
And so we've done some really fun projects here. Live performance, Brain Upon the Brain, music and film.
Yeah, of course.
Things like that. So I've had some experience with the festival, but it's very different being on this side.
But that's what I was going to say, being in your own film, is that skew it a little?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's you know, you get lots of attention. I'm used to being a behind the scenes kind of person. I'm used to being on your side of the camera, and to be honest, I kind of prefer it. But I feel really grateful with the support that this film is being given and the feedback that I've gotten on it. And just today, actually, it was just announced I got a U.S. distribution deal with the film.
So, amazing!
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Film Buff in the United States.
Amazing! Well,
yeah, they're going to do a theatrical and VOD release of it in the U.S. So, and that just came out today. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, so what else can you ask for?
Well, congratulations! Thank you.